Hi guys, I'm going to just give you a quick rundown of how I replaced the coolant in my machine. There was a guy that asked for a video on it, so I'm going to tell you. Alright, so first off, pop your hood up. There's a clip here, a clip here, and then the hole. Just kind of give her a little nice little pull and she'll pop loose. Now then, it has two little sliders, one here and one about here, and they face this way, so you have to press up and then pop it out. Mine hits my windshield though, and it's kind of a problem, so I'm not going to go that far because it's kind of a pain to get it back into place. But if you don't have a windshield, by the time you pull these clips up and you press it back this way a little bit, it should pop right off. Your radiator is right here. Your radiator cap would be right there, and then your coolant reserve. What I did was just pop the top on my coolant reserve, because then that way when I crack the valve in the back, which I'll show you here in a minute, it'll suck from the coolant reserve and drain that first, and then it'll start sucking from the radiator. So back here, I didn't have to take the tire off, but you just got a 10 millimeter here, there, and then there's two down here on the bottom, and then two clips right here and right here, and this thing pops right off, and it gives you full access to the inside. Now the bad part, even with that popped off, way down in there is the piece. It's right behind that heat shield right there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's all the way down there where my finger is. So what I did is I took just an 8 millimeter wrench, which it's an 8 millimeter, and I cracked that loose. It's gonna make a mess because it hits that it hits the skid plate, but you just crack that little guy loose down there, and she'll start peeing it out pretty fast. I think I only loosened it like 2 or 3 threads because you can't fit your hands back in there. It's really tough. It's a very, very tight spot. So it took about, I don't know, probably half an hour to an hour to drain, because it just took forever to finally go. But as soon as that reservoir was empty up top, I popped the radiator cap and just let her do her thing. And yeah, it hit that skid plate and scattered all over the place. It made a pretty good mess. So just stand by. If you're doing it in the dirt or something, don't leave it for the animals. I mean, try to catch as much as you can in a pan. That's all I could do. But it's still got everywhere. Just make sure you hose it down real good, and that way no animals get poisoned by it or anything like that. And hopefully that helps you. And that was about it. You just dump some radiator fluid back in there, let it run for a while after you tightened your nuts up back there. She'll eventually start burping. You have to wait until that fan kicks on before that valve will open and allow the fluid to get going real fast through there. So you can just sit there and she'll eventually open, and you just keep topping that off, topping it off. Takes, I don't know, took me about, I don't know, half an hour or so to get her fully burped out. And I go in and rev the engine up a little bit and make sure it's circulating good. So it'll suck some down and then it'll spit some up. So I mean, you're constantly bubbling fluid back and forth, but as long as those air bubbles are coming out of there, you should be all right. Just make sure she's on good level ground so you don't get any stuck air bubbles. And then as soon as she's nice and hot and that fan runs like twice, which means that opens your gate valve down in there for your coolant flow, then you should be pretty good. Just top her off to the top, put your cap on, fill up your reservoir, and just let her sit there and idle for a few more minutes and take her for a rip. Make sure that she's not going to do any overheating on you. You know, let your fan kick on once or twice. Mine still does get pretty warm. It gets up to the 3rd bar. It doesn't get like over the 3rd bar. The fan always kicks on, does its thing, cools it right back down. It does work less, I think, now that I got actual decent coolant in there. The stuff that you pull out of this is like neon green. It looks like, if you've seen Predator, it looks like Predator blood. Like, it is super thick green. Pretty crazy looking, honestly. It like almost glows. So I hope this helps. If there's any other videos you guys would like to know about, let me know and I'll try to get them to you if I've done it. All right, thanks, bye.